My name is Larry Bush and my parents are Anthony Bush and Christina Bush. So here at Noah's Ark Zoo Farm, originally this was a dairy farm. It's a family dairy farm with about 120 cows, and that was like that for several decades until the 90s, when my parents were able to buy the farm, but they sold their cows and sold their milk quota and opened up as a farm centre. And during the last 20 years it's grown to become a zoo with over 200,000 visitors a year. Well, we began a succession conversation about 10 years ago. I was working for Walker's, PepsiCo at the time, and I was interested in the idea of taking on a leading role here at Noah's Ark. So I approached my parents, who initially were quite interested in the idea, but after a while we abandoned the conversation and they decided it wasn't the right time. We then came back a couple of years ago. I finished a job that I was doing, was working for myself, I was self-employed, so I started that conversation again, and this time it's concluded in me coming here and taking on the leadership of the zoo. There were a number of challenges. I came and spent some time with the team here, and they told me that they felt there wasn't a need for some changes, and it was quite tricky to broach that subject with my parents for them to understand that there was a view from the team that people wanted some change, and they felt there was time for a new management, new leadership. So it's not easy to have those discussions as a family, particularly because it's been a very successful business for the last 20 years. And I think the other things that have been difficult have really been about what role we're all going to be playing, because my parents have been very hands-on with this business. They've grown it from being nothing to being a really significant zoo. It's been tricky to talk about a role where they may take a step back from that and to allow space for me to take on a key role in the business. The challenges that we faced, we really overcame by talking about it. It was sometimes difficult to do that, but we arranged some meetings to have separate time from the day-to-day to actually talk through the big picture challenges, talk through some of the issues, and come up with some of the ideas of what could happen, some different scenarios. We had some family meetings as well, so myself, my brother and my two sisters met with my parents, and that's helped to get the ball rolling, to start talking about some of the possibilities for the future and to understand what everybody felt about the future. We did have some family conflict over succession planning. I think that came down to the fact that my parents had a very strong vision for what this place is all about. Some of it's about their faith convictions, because Noah's Ark has a Christian foundation, and they had a very strong vision of how that should be expressed. So the possibility of a fresh vision was quite an area of conflict. But also those family discussions did open up various other difficult things. There was a bit of catching up on issues that had happened over the years, and some of those issues came out. So at times they were quite emotional conversations and quite tricky conversations to have as a family. When we were having our succession planning discussions, I was given the name of somebody who was an experienced mediator, and we brought in that person who really helped us as an objective person, third-party person. He could cut through some of the emotional discussions we were having and were getting bogged down in, and that really helped us to make progress much quicker and to get to the point of what are the key issues really that needed to be agreed in order to move forward. The handover that we've now completed has really helped the business, because I think it's allowed us to have some fresh momentum. After 20 years, the business had plateaued, and me coming in with fresh ideas And the team have actually really enjoyed having the space to express themselves. Maybe they've come up with ideas in the past and not been able to go anywhere with them. Me coming in has been able to give people the opportunity to go for some of those ideas. As a result of that, we've seen some really good growth in the last year. We've grown by over 20%, which we're really pleased about, and we've got the business growing and moving forward in an exciting way. One of the benefits of the handover from my parents is they are looking much happier, much healthier, and much more relaxed. I think they've realised they were carrying a lot of stress and a lot of responsibility from day to day, and actually I've been able to take away some of that pressure from them, and so they are looking really contented. They're having some time off, they're going away, which they never would have dreamt about doing, they're smiling much more, and they're looking different people, really happy. I took over as managing director in August last year, so it's been very recent. Previous to that, for the last couple of years, I was getting involved, working with the team part-time. I was living in another location, travelling here every couple of weeks, working with the team, and I actually developed a strategy with the zoo and consulted with my parents and the team to do that. Since arriving in August, I've really been able to run with that strategy, and we've made a lot of progress. Some really exciting things that we're doing. As a zoo, we're growing, we're opening up more, we're seeing more visitors arrive. We've got some quite exciting themes on sustainability, being more inclusive and accessible, and with education and conservation. So it is a really exciting time. The team are raring to go, and we're already excited about the plans that we're delivering. So my parents' involvement now in Noah's Ark is really as owners. I'm managing the day-to-day and the week-to-week running of the zoo. I do speak with them on a regular basis, usually a daily basis, and I seek to reassure them, and so they can feel confident in the direction of travel. Apart from that, there is one area of the business my mother is still involved with because she used to run the shop, and she still has some involvement in that. And to be honest, that's still a little bit of a slightly complicated area because there is overlap between what she's doing and what I'm doing as the managing director. But we're sort of mucking along with that, and we'll get to that. We'll resolve exactly how that's going to go in time. One of the things that has been great about coming here, one of the reasons I wanted to come and get involved, is because it is a family business, and I think that brings a whole level of meaning with it. My children, two of my children are actually doing some work here. One is working in the cafe during a gap year, and my younger child is here doing some volunteering. She's at school, but on the weekend she'll do some volunteering. I don't know whether they'll get involved in the future. They're enjoying being involved right now. Who knows, in a few years' time I might be having a succession discussion with them.